Hey folks, whoa, all right. So I just put together a selfie stick. I figured that's gonna help. I know I'm late to the party, but this will be cool because better pictures, I just need to learn how to stabilize it. Okay, I'm working on, I placed my print order, so I'm waiting on bike stuff. When you're waiting on bike stuff for the build, you focus on gathering the parts, bending tubes, getting some cuts done, setting fixtures. But of course, I'm always distracted by improvements to the Samantha fixture. So one thing I'm doing today is kind of pedantic, but kind of cool, and we're gonna see how it goes. This is the before times. So I'm gonna make a modification, let's see, to this clamp right here that I use to assist. There's two clamps, one at the base, one up here, for holding the angle beams in position so they don't move. I prefer them to be very low profile. Now, if you look here, actually I can do it right here, we have a common fixture table clamp like that goes in there. Now, you can see that there's a huge difference between these two clamps. Now, of course, I could cut this off very short, but we start getting into issues here with this Acme threaded part and everything. And I've looked into various options for how to make this existing part lower profile with the lug and how it fastens. And also the cost of these. Like, I don't want to buy a $40 clamp only to turn it into a one-use clamp. So I have these parts I got off of Amazon. Now, these would otherwise have been great, but if you look, I had to machine down that segment because in wood, this is from woodworking though, although it's perfectly fine for fixturing, the light duty that I'm doing here. I had to take that diameter down from 3/4 to 5/8. In woodworking, they're primarily 3/4. In metal shop land at the scale I do, it's primarily 5/8. And if you look, these aluminum posts, that's very thin wall. We also get into another issue here. You can't see it, but there's going to be a time when I go into the pin out of right here, if I'm in this middle pin here, where I'm like that, and that's going to force me to be up high, blah, blah, blah. There's a bunch of, and these are cheap. Two of them cost $20 or $25, but I'm going to modify it, okay? Now, if you bear with me here, this, oh, let's see, the selfie, we need to get a holder, okay? This threads in. Now, I could produce a threaded part, but it doesn't solve another issue, and that's the up and down. I can make it even lower profile if I make this a slide. So I'm going to machine those parts today, and we're going to come back and look at that, okay? Cool. Okay, so I'm getting a this old Tony moment going here right now. I'm kind of feeling like the man himself. I don't know if I've done a video quite with a hand. Whoops. So these are the parts that were machined. In my print, I have a hole going through here that I may add just because it'll look so trick when it's in the fixture. Here you can see the two clamps, the modified from Amazon and the new PVD one. Now, on the surface, it might not look like there's too much different here, but there is, in the sense that this now moves up and down with that, so that, like, let's say in this case, I bottom out on a subplate type of thing, I can still lower all the way down and keep my maximum lower profile. Okay, so that's one of the big points in my design here, in addition to the strength of a solid steel pin versus the marginal aluminum one. Now, I might have mentioned before, this assembly is otherwise pretty cool. I mean, it's all anodized. It's got a nice knob. It's got a nice foot. It's low. I think I cut down these threads from the original one as well. But you'd be hard pressed to do as well for the price. So modifying that arm actually turned out to be the right way to go in my mind right now. But the system functions, looks pretty cool. Yeah, so there's the two parts. It's pretty cool. I probably spent too much time machining it. But these over what we have here, where it's so massive, the difference, you know. Now, one of the things I did in the CAD land, let's move this out of the way, is I tried to size this so that I could do, can you see that? Let's bring that in there. So it was sized well for a standard 1.5 inch tall or 15 profile from 80/20, but the primary size that I use is, of course, the 3/4 inch. Let me go and actually put that in a plate where you can see the difference. There we go. So it's plugged in there. That's what's sticking out the bottom. Now on my traveling little slides that I have here, I try to keep the extension down, and I almost made it so that at 3/4 it was flush here. But I decided, you know what, I'm going to add the extra 3/4 of an inch stick out so that when I did go to the 1.5 inch, I could do that too. Because I want this to be a system that works everywhere. Anyway, so now my job is remove this, bore it out through, and then I'll have the system. Also, the system's working. I didn't even press, that's not even a press fit. That's like a very close indeterminate fit or something like that. I may use some retaining compound on it later, but it's functioning just fine without that. So this system is really cool. Yeah, and also, oh, here's another thing. Let's say I get into a weird situation where I want a really long height but a low profile. All I have to do is use some 3/8 rod. It doesn't have to be this fancy end. That fancy end is just so that when I'm working, it doesn't drop through. I did have a design where I used a circlip instead of this top hat, but I decided to do the top hat just for aesthetics and whatnot. So there we go. Okay, selfie stick generation. We're gonna get a lot more coverage now. Isn't that cool? Yeah, I don't know why it took me so long. Anyway, I'm at the hard hinge right now. We've got a nice collet lathe here, and I'm beginning the process of cutting those parts. I'm starting with a through bore, and I'm gonna machine them out. I'm using 303 stainless. I like that. It's nice and easy to work with. Costs slightly more sometimes, but it's nice and easy to work with. You end up with a rust-free part, which in the San Francisco cityscape here, having a rust-free part is really important, actually. Drier climates could probably get away with regular steel. So I've begun the process here, and of course, I've got my print, which I'll have imaged, and yeah, we're getting going. Okay, so I managed to stop the recording because I don't know what I'm doing yet. I think I'm going to be a perpetual noob at this. I think that'll keep me a better person. Anyway, so this looks really good. It's a really nice finished product. It's a little bit of work, but now I have something nobody else has. It's trick, it feels awesome. I can clamp things down on my fixture and it doesn't take up much room. So we're there. All right, so we're trying this again. I'm having trouble doing basic video recording. So I'm starting to lean toward this old Tony style post. Maybe he's got something going there. I need to work on my hand acting because he's a much better hand actor than I am. Obviously, he's the master. But here we are. We've got our low profile clamps. They're fully adjustable. Unlike before with the fixed rod, I have a flexible rod here that'll work at any height. I can extend it all the way up or all the way down depending on the length of this. This one just has a rim on it to keep it from sliding all the way through. You could do that with a circlip as well. And it just goes right there on the table, clamps right down. And I gauged the height of this so that it'd be able to do a 80-20, 15-10, or a 15-75. I figured that would be the optimization range for this. And then anything else, I'd have to do something else. But you can see the difference here when we look at approximately the space savings, all this stuff that sticks up here from this. So that's nice. And yeah, it's really cool to get to this point in the project. I've got something nobody else has. It looks beautiful. It matches the rest of the fixture now. The other system, the original post was not looking too good. So it's very cool. I'm excited. I'm gonna have to make 2, or I think I need 4 more based on something that hopefully we'll see in a few weeks. A cool idea. I was talking to a student, Akil, today about something, and he planted a germ that may turn into a cool blog post. So I'll show people something that nobody else, to my knowledge, has ever done with a frame fixture. And I think that's really neat. At least it'll contribute to the body of knowledge, as we say around these parts. Okay, thank you very much.